Hanover Wildcats, Coach's Corner, a service of Hanover Electric, Blue Valley Technologies, Inline Construction, the Blue Valley Insurance Agency, Citizen State Banks, Handy's Hardware and Lumber, Midwest Products, and Bremen Farmers Mutual Insurance.
The variety of our checking plans exceeds your grandfather's dreams. We have checking plans for kids, checking for college students, checking for small businesses, and checking for seniors only. We have checking plans that pay interest. By checking with us, you have quality choices to add to your portfolio and financial planning. Citizen State Bank of Marysville, Waterville, and Hanover. Quality banking since 1907. Member FDIC.
See Andy Bruna at Andy's Hardware and Lumber in Hanover for a full line of your everyday hardware needs and all the building supplies you'll need to get the job done right. Just about anything you might need around the farm or home is found at Andy's, and always fast, friendly service when you need it. It just makes good sense to shop at Andy's Hardware and Lumber in Hanover, Kansas, a Proud Wildcat booster. That's Andy's Hardware and Lumber in Hanover.
Bremen Farmers Mutual Insurance, providing high-quality coverage and service, all at a competitive premium cost. Since 1888, Bremen Farmers Mutual has offered homeowner, farm owner, business owner, fire, and inland marine coverage. Dependable and affordable. See your local agent representing Bremen Farmers Mutual Insurance. Learn more about the various insurance products offered by going online at bfmic.com.
Quality work at reasonable rates. Inline Construction does basements and foundations as well as retaining walls, plus drives, patios, and sidewalks. For concrete work, call for a quote from Inline Construction at 562-5523 or inlineconstruction@yahoo.com.
Welcome into the Hanover Wildcats Coaches Corner program, joined as always with head football coach Matt Hoyer. Matt, a 60-0 halftime victory over Washington County last Friday night. What are you taking away from that win over the in-county rival Tigers?
You know, I thought that we did some things pretty well on both sides of the ball. I thought we were very balanced offensively, defensively. We were solid against the run. We were solid against the pass. But more importantly, I thought we played a little more disciplined. We played a little more consistent on both sides of the ball. And I think that, there's still some things that we need to, clean up, probably play a little cleaner on both sides of the ball. But at the same time, I feel like our kids did a good job of taking another step forward. As far as week 3 goes, we're nowhere near where we're hoping to be by week 8, week 9. But at the same time, I feel like we're continuing to show some progress, and that's definitely a positive as we move forward.
And I wasn't quite for sure how to word this, so hopefully I get it out right. But you talked about it, week 3 now. This is a team in Washington you guys have had success in the last couple of years. How important was it for you to not see this team? I don't want to say take a step back, but maybe take a week off, a lull week, and still come out there, compete, and get that game over. When it did get over with.
Well, I think it's, extremely important, not only just to be consistent. I think we need to be consistent across the board. I think we need to make sure that, we understand the importance of every single play. And, I always kind of, talk up the last non-district game as being, pretty important to the boys, kind of your last, measuring stick or your last practice game, I should say, or preseason game before you get into districts. I always really kind of make them understand that, once you get in the districts, you need to be kind of firing on all cylinders. Obviously, we still want to see improvement each and every single week, and, we still want to work towards, late October and early November, but at the same time, that there's kind of a start of a second season, I should say, when district starts this week, and, it's very important, as far as, kind of getting a little bit of a stance as far as where you might be in the playoff picture.
I think that's important, and yes, it's not looking too terribly forward, but you only get so many opportunities in those district games. Now, a kind of two-parted question here for you, Matt, but as you do get into week 4 now, you've had a chance to see this team a few times. What's one part of the game that I think you've been impressed with so far, and then where's another area of improvement you're still looking to get better at?
I think our athleticism and depth is probably the two things that we knew we were probably going to be pretty strong with coming in, but I think it's probably been a little more strong than we were even kind of thinking at the beginning of the year. And I think that's extremely important, across the board, and through all three phases of the game. And then, as far as what we need to improve on, we need to, probably be a little bit cleaner. We probably need to make sure that we're not making some silly mental errors. Obviously there's going to be mistakes and there's going to be errors every single game, but any time that you can, kind of nix out some of the very correctable ones, I think that's extremely important, and especially in trying to become, the level or quality of a team that I think that this group possesses.
I know we talked about it too at the beginning of the season, but I don't want to say it was tempering expectations. But how do you still, as this team evolves and you guys get some, exposure from some statewide media outlets, how do you make sure the boys, still kind of just stay grounded and focus week to week?
I think they understand that it's a process. I think they understand that we're a long ways from where we need to be. We're a long ways from where we could potentially be. And I think that, as long as we stay focused on, the task at hand, and we stay focused and grounded on, what we need to do as a group, I think that we're going to continue to, take steps forward. I think we're continue to, kind of trudge towards the level of or quality of a team that we have the potential to be. And I think if we continue to do that, by the time the playoffs roll around, I think we could be even quite a few steps ahead of where we are right now. And I think that that's, a very, very positive thing for our kids. I think it's something that our kids can buy into. I think it's something that, as long as our kids continue to see, that improvement each and every single week, I think it's something they should definitely be excited about as far as, where that might take us as the season progresses.
An opportunity with a challenge coming up this Friday night, a game down at Frankfort, a game that we'll have as our featured broadcast on FM 95.5. First off, about the Wildcats. I know they lose a lot of experience and they're kind of figuring some stuff out, but they still have Wes Anderson back there at quarterback. How do you, I don't want to say, aim to contain him, but what's going to kind of be a defensive key for your team going into Friday night?
Well, they're always well coached. They always, have great tradition down there. They have great pride, just like a lot of the schools around here. And it's always, a battle when you're going to see them, and like you said, they have an exceptional player in Wes Anderson, but it doesn't just stop there. They have a lot of different kids that, bring dynamic aspects to the football game, and, they kind of complement Wes very well. Wes is an extremely, solid quarterback. He's probably one of the top, if not the top, quarterbacks in 8-man football this year. So, it's going to be extremely important for us to, not necessarily, contain him, but limit the damage that he will do. Because when you have a level or a player that's that level, he's obviously going to make plays, but you got to, limit it the best that you possibly can, and you kind of have to make them, drive the field. You can't give up chunk plays, and I think that's going to be important for our kids to, really realize.
And last one here for you, Matt, but then flip it to your side of the ball, maybe offensively or defensively. What do you want to see from your team Friday night in order to be successful?
There again, play discipline, understand, each and every single person's role, understand, what their job is as far as a position grouping goes, and, do that, in context, not really go outside of the box and not really, try to do too much. Just make sure that you're taking care of your role, making sure you're taking care of your responsibility. And then, I hope we play fast. That's one thing that we've done pretty well the last couple of weeks, but I feel like we can probably even play faster than we have. And then we just got to make sure as a group, that we play not only just physical, but also, with a good head on our shoulders. And I think if we do those things, I think we can find some success.
Well, there's going to be two reasons I'm really looking forward to it, and it's two great teams matching up there Friday night. Again, as Hanover travels down to Frankfort on our featured game on FM 95.5. Matt, I always enjoy the time talking with Matt Hoyer, head coach of the Hanover Wildcats, and hopefully we'll get a second to be able to bump into each other Friday night.
All right. Thank you, Max.
In your bustling lives, we're constantly on the move from hectic commutes to family outings. Blue Valley Insurance offers comprehensive auto coverage to keep you safe on every journey. Whether you're heading to work or driving your kids to practice, we've got you covered. Visit us at convenient locations in Lynn, Greenleaf, Hanover, or Marysville for personalized auto insurance solutions
tailored to your needs. Drive with peace of mind, knowing you're protected by Blue Valley Insurance.
Not everyone's going to become a Lennox dealer, so you'll be glad to know when you buy a Lennox from Hanover Electric Incorporated, you not only get the best products in the business, you also get a tradition of experience in making sure your home is as comfortable as it can be. Because every independent Lennox dealer must pass the Lennox Quality Dealer Standards Program, the toughest test in the industry. And what it means is you get a dealer you could always count on. Lennox, one less thing to worry about.
Back to school means your household is back online. With Blue Valley Technologies, try out a 3-month internet speed boost with no long-term commitments. Keep your family connected with 24/7 tech support, plus parental controls with worry-free Wi-Fi. Sign up to receive 3 months free, plus free installation. Not a current Blue Valley Technologies customer? Sign up for the best in internet service and get a $100 bill credit. Visit bluevalley.net.
From the ground up, Midwest Products Hanover can assist with concrete drives, parking, walks, entries, foundations, and support walls. Quality people help produce quality products, and you can rely on their crews for a job done right. Concrete plants at Hanover, Washington, and Clay Center. Midwest Products also haul rock, sand, and gravel. They have a crane for rent and can assist with site preparation. Start your next job with a call for a quote today from Midwest Products at Hanover. Hanover Wildcats Coach's Corner, a service of Hanover Electric, Blue Valley Technologies, Inline Construction, the Blue Valley Insurance Agency, Citizen State Banks, Andy's Hardware and Lumber, Midwest Products, and Bremen Farmers Mutual Insurance.